So again, this lecture is about fault calculation and application to industries. How to apply the fault calculation. No, basically kasi sa college days natin, alam lang natin yung theory, but hindi natin alam kung paano i-apply. And tunda sa mga electrical practitioners, maybe like Engineer Ernie said earlier, is pwede ninyong maging refresher. So again, let's start fault calculation and application to industries. So basically, there's no such thing as a fault-proof system. So mahirap, pwede siyang i-attain but not practical because mag-oversize ka ng mga devices mo as well as your equipment. It is neither economical and hindi natin may iwasan faults or failures occur in any power system. So kahit na anong sabihin natin, talagang mag-a-occur ang fault. So according to experience, faults usually surface out after about 5 years of operation of a brand new plant. So after 5 years of operation, maaaring bumaba yung mga insulation level ng mga equipment mo during maaaring nagkaroon ng internal fault. So definitely talagang magkakaroon ka ng fault or failures. So in the various parts of the electrical network under short circuits or unbalanced condition, the determination of the magnitude and phase angles as follows. So nasusukat natin siya based on currents. So kaya nga meron tayong kiloampere interrupting capacity and we have voltages. So bakit sir voltages? So aware naman tayo pag nagkaroon ng fault, you have a voltage dip. No, nagdi-dip yung voltage mo kaya nag-i-increase yung current. So we have also the impedance. So ano yung reaction ng impedance mo based on the available fault level. So mamaya tawag nito meron tayong basic calculation diyan. So causes of faults. Bakit ba nagkakaroon ng faults? So basically sa mga student, maging aware lang tayo na ang causes of faults is insulation failure. So nakita ko sa mga list ng participants, we have a third year here, third year, fourth year, electrical engineering student. So insulation failure, meron niya mga bullet kung ano-ano yan. Number one is the design defect. So pag ang design mo is mali ka ng calculation, hinulaan mo, so definitely one day, you will suffer an insulation failure. Improper manufacturing. So sa mga equipment, pag mali yung, or rather na yung mali yung mga technical specifications mo, definitely may implication yan sa fault na darating sa power system mo. Number 3, ito yung usual na nangyayari, improper installation. So kaya nga tayo sa industry, pag nag-supervise tayo, no, dapat aware tayo kung ano yung standards. Hindi pwedeng pag gumana na, okay na. So mali yung mindset na ganon. So we have to do what is written in our standards in Philippine Electrical Code and other international standards. So ito yung sinasabi ko, aging insulation. So hindi ka naman, yung insulation mo on the first day of your energization is different. Iba na siya pagdating ng 5 years. So why? Because of mga voltage transients. So meron kang transients sa system, meron kang power quality issue sa system. So nagkakaroon ka ng aging insulation. So kung mapapansin mo, yung cable mo, for example, merong treeing effect, no? Treeing effect meaning yung parang nagbibitak-bitak. So that is a cause of fault. No? Pag nagkaroon ka ng aging insulation, numinipis yung insulation mo, so definitely high current, meron thermal. Next one is over voltages. So part na siya nung aging insulation mo. Kung meron kang over voltages sa system, usually ang pwedeng maging cause niyan talaga is insulation failure. For example, nagkaroon ka ng single line to ground fault, meaning your one phase or one line is grounded, single line to ground fault. Nagkakaroon ka ng over voltages minsan doon sa surge arrestor mo. So pag bumabad ang fault, hindi nag-trip ang circuit breaker mo, definitely talagang sisirain niya yung insulation level mo or yung tinatawag na BIL, built-in insulation level. So it is a more on insulation coordination, no? So hindi na natin masyadong emphasize yun. So other causes of faults in terms of electrical, we have lightning surges. Usually naman ang lightning surges is nako-correct na through SPD, no? Surge protection devices, switching surges, and temporary dynamic overvoltages. So for mechanical, we have the causes of faults like wind, kung merong typhoon, no? Kaya nagkakaroon ng interruption, contamination, trees falling on the lines, conductor or connector failures. So ito yung katulad nung sinabi natin about improper installation. So minsan akala mo tighten na yung mga connector mo but minsan maluwag. So nagkakaroon ng hotspot, no? Pag sa industry or sa practices is tinermal scan mo, merong hotspot na tinatawag. So nagiinit yung mga connectors or yung conductors. So dapat properly yan na naka-tighten. Broken, rotten, or wood poles. So definitely ito namang huli is siguro sa mga electric cooperative, some of the electric cooperative is gumagamit pa ng wooden poles. So pag nasira yan, definitely yung line mo is magkakaroon ng effect or mababali o mapuputol. So causes of faults, bakit tayo nagkaka-faults? Meron tayong tinatawag na man or animal made is yung bird shorting out lines. So mapapansin nyo kung nakakita na kayo kay Meralco line or any distribution utilities, nagkakaroon sila ng tinatawag na bird spike dun sa cross arm or alley arm nung distribution pole. So nagtatayo sila ng or naglalagay sila ng bird spike, no, para wag dumapo yung mga ibon. Small animals entering switchgear, ito yung mga alam natin na yung mga rat, snake. Yan. So pag dumikit sila dun sa live bus bar is nagkakaroon ng single line to ground fault. So nagtitrip yung mga protection devices mo. So vehicles colliding with power lines, aircraft colliding power lines too. So definitely naiiwasan na rin naman to ngayon, no? Bihira na yung mga incident na ganyan. So for other causes of faults, meron tayong tinatawag na thermal. So overcurrent and overvoltage. So sa overcurrent, pag sinabi nating overcurrent, it is a widely applied phrase in either an overload or short circuit. Pag sinabi nating overload is defined as an excessive current in reference to normal operating current. So pag sinabi nating overcurrent, usually kung naririnig niyo yung lock rotor ampere 6 times or 6 to 8 times of its rated current. So pag nag-excess ka doon, that is overcurrent. So we have two overcurrent, tatandaan nyo, overcurrent or overload, either transient and sustained. No? According to location, so interface, inter-circuit fault and cross-country fault. So hindi na natin masyadong emphasize yan. So we have to go to our calculation para mabilis. So what is the consequence of the power system pag nagkaroon ka ng fault? So definitely meron deformation of bus bar. So pag nagkaroon ka ng three-phase fault, no, since meron niyang forces, nagre-result yan na nade-deform na yung bus bars mo. So hindi mo na maibabalik, no, yung hugis or yung sizes ng bus bar mo. Pag nasira yan due to fault, talagang UP yan, no? Disconnection of cables, definitely yes, because pag nagkaroon ng fault, pag mahina yung mga tapping point, no, yan na yung epekto ng tinatawag nating fault, nadi-disconnect lahat ng cables to the terminal, no? Pumipitik. In reality, merong mga nangyayaring ganyan pag gumagawa ng live works, no? Minsan nalaglagan ng tornilyo yung bus bar, no? Sa sobrang lakas ng fault, single line to ground fault, nadi-disconnect yung mga kable dun sa mga connector. So never ever do a live work na walang kasanayan, or much better na shutdown na lang yung system. Okay? Number 3, excessive temperature with the risk of damage to insulation. Ano yan? Pwede nating sabihin yan or excessive temperature with regards to the fault current is arc flash. So meron kang excessive heat. Okay, electromagnetic interference with conductors in the vicinity. So meron kasing kung merong masyadong dikit or masyadong malapit na mga communication line, pag nagkaroon ka ng fault, no, may interference dun sa line. Mechanical and thermal stress resulting in damage of equipment or personal danger. So, gentlemen and class, ano, sa mga estudyante, tatandaan natin, lahat ng electrical equipment, lahat, anything na sabihin ninyo na anong naisip nyong electrical equipment, meron yang tinatawag na damage curve. So, sa damage curve, bilang electrical practitioner, once you computed the fault, no, yung tinatawag nating fault current, kailangan yung makuha lahat ng damage curve ng mga every equipment kung saan nakakabit yung power system or kung saan siya nakakabit na power system. Why? Because based on my experience, minsan ang ginagawa ng ibang electrical practitioner, nagko-compute ng fault, hindi naman marunong mag-set ng protection devices. Hindi niya inaalam kung ano yung damage curve ng lahat ng equipment niya. So, wala rin. Ang nangyayari, pag ganun ang naging output mo dun sa work mo, kinuha mo nga yung fault, marunong ka, magaling kang kumuha ng fault calculation, hindi ka naman marunong paano i-apply with respect to the damage curve of every equipment, definitely sisirain din yung electrical equipment mo. So, pakita lang ako ng isa kung ano yung damage curve para dun sa mga student. Yan. This is a sample of damage curve of cable. So sa cable pala, we have two lines or two curves. The number one is the thermal overload curve and the other one is the damage curve or the short circuit curve. So basically, dapat ma-plot mo yan which depends on the application or type of cables na ginagamit mo sa planta. Para pag alam mong i-plot yan, this is called the TCC, time current curve. So para pag alam mong i-plot yan, you have to properly provide protection to the cable. So meaning, yung cable na yan, well protected ng devices na to. So we have two areas, which is the equipment operating area and the equipment damage area. So pag in-analyze mo yan, for example, analyze lang natin ng basic. If ever na meron tayong 21,500, zoom natin ng konti. Okay? Meron ng 21,500 volt, no? Just in case hindi nag-trip yung circuit breaker mo with that value of fault current, anong mangyayari? So, ang mangyayari dyan, yung 21,500, i-project mo lang kung saan magi-intersect yung time, no? Intersect yung time, dun siya mag-fail or dun na siya magkakaroon ng insulation failure. So yung 21,500 amperes, pag hindi nag-trip yung particular circuit breaker mo that protects your equipment or cable, mapapansin nyo around 1.5 seconds, your insulation will be damaged. So that is the sample of equipment damage curve. So anything, lahat ng electrical equipment may damage curve. For example, this is capacitor. So, pakita ko lang, just a simple run para makita nyo yung sinasabi ko na lahat merong damage curve. This is for the transformer. Yan. This is for the transformer. So, you have to protect your transformer because that is the heart of any power system. So, yan. Ganyan yan. Okay? So, balik tayo sa presentation. So, consequence, again, of power system, pag meron kang fault, meron kang voltage dip. So, voltage dip during the time required to clear the fault, ranging from a few milliseconds to a few hundred milliseconds. So, dapat from that time, no, mag-react yung devices mo or your protection devices. Worst condition, pwedeng mag-shutdown. And next one, yung instability. No, lalo na kung meron kang synchronization, like for example, generator set naka-synchronize sa normal power. So pag nagkaroon ka ng fault, meron kang problema sa instability. So what is the application of fault analysis? So number one, the determination of the required mechanical strength of electrical equipment to withstand the stress brought about by the flow of high short circuit current. So bakit tayo nagpo-fault analysis? Kasi dapat lahat ng every devices mo or any electrical equipment withstand, no? Kaya niya mag-withstand dun sa fault, no? Kaya mapapansin nyo, merong mga incident happened in the power system na pag nagkaroon ng fault, magtataka ka, tama naman po yung short circuit calculation ko. Bakit po sasabog yung circuit breaker ko? The problem with that, hindi nyo na-consider yung withstand capability of your protection devices. Okay? Yan yung tinatawag na momentary. Ibig sabihin, kaya niyang dalhin, kaya niyang, kasi class ganito yan, yung withstand or momentary capacity of protection devices, meron kasi tayo mamaya, i-discuss ko rin naman, meron tayong tinatawag na peak symmetrical fault current. Meaning, kailangan mag-withstand ng circuit breaker mo on that particular peak current. So kasi kinukompute din yon, hindi lang basta-basta interrupting capacity. Why? Because for example, for medium voltage circuit breaker, medium voltage circuit breaker, usually it is a mechanically operated circuit breaker. Okay? Kaya gumagamit tayo dyan ng relay. No? Different kind of relays. Because ang tripping capability ng medium voltage circuit breaker with respect to the relay operation is 1.5 to 4 cycle. Okay, sir, paano po yun? Yung 1.5, kunin niyo yung time. That is time. Wala kasi akong calculator dito, so you have to take down notes na lang. Time is equals to 1.5 divided by the 60 or the frequency, right? So that is the time na kailangan mag-open yung circuit breaker mo. 1.5 to 4 cycle. So ano ang gagawin ng circuit breaker mo below 1.5 seconds? 1.5 cycle. It start from the 0.5 to 1.5, no? Yung range na yon. Anong gagawin ng circuit breaker mo? Dapat ma-withstand niya yung momentary. Kumbaga ma-hold niya yung sarili niya na hindi siya madadamage kasi magti-trip ako at 1.5 to 4 cycle. Okay? So yun. So dapat kino-compute din 'yon. So sa low voltage circuit breaker walang problema because yung tinatawag nating electronic trip unit naka-compact na dun sa isang unit. So definitely pag nagkaroon ka ng peak, automatic it will trip, instantaneous. Okay? Number 2, bakit tayo nag-a-apply ng fault analysis? It's because selection of circuit breakers and switch ratings. So yan na yung mga interrupting ratings mo or KA mo. For example, bus bar, bus dock. So dyan ang basis niyan sa fault analysis. Number 3, selection of protective relay and fuse ratings din. So hindi mo naman siya pwedeng hulaan. So you have to rely on your fault analysis and calculation. The number 4 is this is more important is the setting and coordination of your protective devices. So hindi naman pwede yung i-input mo sa relay mo, no, or yung sa circuit breaker mo, yung mga merong electronic trip unit, isuhulaan mo. So mali 'yon. So you have to tawag nito rely on your fault analysis and calculation. Kung ano yung makuha mo sa fault analysis, yun ang gagawin mo or isa-set mo sa mga protection devices mo. Number 5, the selection of surge arrestor and insulation ratings. This is more on insulation coordination. And number 6, determination of fault impedances for use in stability studies. Okay. So number 7, this is the ano pa yung application ng fault analysis, the calculation of voltage sags resulting from short circuit. Actually, it's more on dito na pwedeng pumasok yung motor starting analysis, ano? Because of some of the motors, pag nag-run yan, usually 6 to 8 times, but pag nagkaroon ng internal fault, no? Tapos tuloy-tuloy yung tinatawag na inrush current, no? Magdi-dip talaga or magsasag yung voltage mo. So, yan yung tawag nito, yung application na yan ng number 7. Number 8, sizing of series reactors to limit the short circuit. So, dapat alam mo yung short circuit mo bago ka series ng reactors mo para malimit mo yung fault. Kasi kung huhulaan mo, definitely pwedeng sumabog or magkaroon ng defect yung ilalagay mo reactor. Number 9, to determine the short circuit capability of series capacitors. And number 10, to determine the size of grounding transformer, resistance, or reactor. So parehas siya ng number 8. So daanan na lang din natin to. Factors to be considered when performing short circuit studies. Depende sa circuit configuration, grounding system, voltage class, insulation levels, and system characteristics. So most common power system studies. Ito yung ina-emphasize ko bakit ko gustong sabihin sa student as well as sa mga, actually alam ko naman sa mga electrical practitioners, alam nyo na to. Baka lang nakakalimutan nyo. So this is only for a review. Ang short circuit calculation kasi, lahat dito sa makikita nyong most common power system studies, ginagamitan ng short circuit. Okay? Your load flow, your short circuit studies, stability studies, coordination, electromagnetic transient, harmonic analysis based sa IEEE standards, ginagamitan ng short circuit yan. Motor starting studies, cable studies, ground mat studies, usually the single line to ground fault, and arc flash analysis. So basically, yung electrical short circuit na natin tinatawag, yan ang mother of the design. Okay? So pag hindi mo alam gawin yan, at uhulaan mo lang copy-paste yung plano mo, or yung single line diagram, definitely may problema tayo. Okay? So type of currents. So we have various type of current. We have normal operation. Yan yung tinatawag nating tawag nito yes, the normal operation of every equipment. So walang problema. We have overload current, short circuit current, and ground fault current. Okay? So short circuit current, no, pag sinabi natin short circuit current is greater than the lock rotor current and may range upwards in thousands of amperes. Kaya nga mapapansin nyo class, lahat ng circuit breaker is in thousands. Kaya nga naka-kilo ampere interrupting capacity. So for example, 10 kaik, that is 10,000 amperes. Okay? Short circuit current, the maximum value is limited by the maximum short circuit current available on the system at the fault point. Short circuit current may be further classified as bolted, arcing, or large amounts of short circuit current will flow into the bolted fault than the arcing. So pag bolted, usually class, mas malaki sa arcing. Because pag nagkaroon ka na ng arcing, meron ng impedance of air. Diba? Kaya nga, kung mapapansin nyo, pag nag-conduct kayo ng arc flash analysis, pag in-input niyo yung bolted fault or your three-phase fault dun sa formula ni arc flash, bumababa yung arcing current mo because of that air. Okay? Then, ito, additional tawag nito, practical side sa mga student. Just in case, pina-evaluate sa inyo, nakagraduate kayo, pina-evaluate sa inyo ang isang system, for example, Engineer Rodriguez, classmate, sample lang kita. Wala akong kilala eh. Engineer Rodriguez, may evaluate mo ba yung kaya pa ba ng secondary circuit breaker natin pag naglagay ako ng, let's say, 100 horsepower na motor? Bago kang electrical engineer. So anong gagawin mo? Gusto mong malaman na yung interrupting capacity ng secondary circuit breaker mo, kaya bang i-handle yung 100 horsepower na motor? Anong gagawin mo? Wala kang data. Bago ka lang. No? Siyempre, katulad ko, dati school bukol ako, ang dala ko lang talaga cellphone, 3310, ano? So yun lang ang gamit ko sa site. Eh ngayon meron ng Android, no? Pwede ka nang or may Apple phone ka pa, iPhone. Anong gagawin mo? Para makuha mo yung short circuit current, meron kang idea. Meron kang rule of thumb, meron kang initial information. Anong gagawin mo? Pwede mong gawin. Pumunta ka dun sa transformer. Pumunta ka dun sa nameplate rating. Okay? Hanapin mo yung percent impedance. Then, from there, kunin mo yung rating, kunin mo yung full load current at the secondary. Kasi dun magkakabit ng motor eh. And that full load current, divide mo doon sa percent impedance, the short circuit impedance. That is your symmetrical three-phase fault current at no load condition. So meron kang idea na pwede mong ibangga doon sa interrupting capacity ng secondary circuit breaker mo para magkaroon ka ng idea din na kung yung 100 horsepower is capable, no, na pwede pang idagdag doon sa system. Okay, so yan. Meron kayong tawag nito, initial, no? Pwede kayong mag-initial calculation. But kung gano'n ang mangyayari, initial nyo lang yon, i-verify nyo yon sa actual calculation ninyo. So pag sinabi natin ground fault current naman, ground fault current consists of any current which flows outside the normal circuit path. Ground fault current flows in the equipment grounding conductor for low voltage system. In medium and high voltage system, ground fault current may return to the source through the earth. So sa medium voltage class, ang tawag nito, very focus sila sa single line to ground fault because yung investment nila sa medium voltage motors is hindi biro. So pag single line to ground fault talaga, gumagawa sila ng way, either nag-i-insert sila ng resistor, impedances dun sa neutral or grounding conductor para malimit yung single line to ground fault. Okay. Ground fault current on low voltage system may be classified as leakage, bolted, or arcing. So pag may tanong, siguro sabi ko nga para dire-diretso lang tayo, you have to write na lang your questions, then ibato na lang sa akin. Okay? I will answer it naman. So we have different kind of faults. We have the shunt faults, single line to ground, double line to ground, line to line, and three-phase faults. So basically, dito lang tayo magpo-focus mamaya sa calculation. Okay? So kung ikaw naman ay mag-PEE, hinahanap na po ito. One line open faults and two line open faults. Dito po, hindi ko na pinakita yung derivation ng one line open and two line open, but kung sinong interested na lang, I can share it naman, yung formula. Kasi po, kung magde-derive tayo, ay nako po, maghapon po ito. So, probabilities of occurrence of the various type of fault. So, ang pinaka-common na nangyayari sa power system is the single line to ground fault, which is 70%. Line-to-line fault is 15%, double line to ground fault, 10%, and three-phase fault, 0.5%. Or rather, 0.5. Okay? So, yung three-phase fault, yan ang ginagamit natin sa pagsa-size up ng any equipment. No? Just in case magsa-size up kayo ng mga interrupting capacity. So, minsan, tatandaan nyo rin na minsan nagkakaroon ng time na mas mataas ang single line to ground fault. Okay? So, dapat aware kayo kung ano yung pinakamataas na fault, doon natin isa-size up yung mga protection devices natin. But usually, laging three-phase fault. So, sources of circuit, short circuit. We have, tatandaan nyo class, very basic lang naman. Ang sources of short circuit, lahat ng may mga moving parts. Okay, lahat ng walang moving parts, it is not a source of short circuit. Pag sinabi na, may mga nagtatanong kasi, unahan ko na, sir, paano po namin i-consider yung ilaw? Ay, wala namang moving parts yon. So, hindi mo siya i-consider sa short circuit as a source of a short circuit. So, ang source lang is either synchronous generator, synchronous motor, induction motor, and utility. Kasi merong galing sila sa generation, utility. And yung transformer naman, although it is not a moving part, meron kasi siyang impedance. So dapat i-consider mo siya. Okay? So short circuit sources, synchronous generator, when a short circuit occurs downstream of any synchronous generator, it may continue to produce output voltage and current. So hanggat hindi nagte-trip yung generator, it will produce a short circuit. Synchronous motor delivers short circuit current into the fault until the motor completely stop. Okay? So, pag nag-lock na yung motor, hindi na umikot, wala nang torque, tsaka lang siya mag-stop din sa pagbibigay ng short circuit current. Hindi siya katulad ng induction motor, yung current niya or yung short circuit current niya decays very quickly. Okay? Kaya mapapansin niyo yung induction motor, tingnan niyo yung curve, yung graph. Diba? So, nag-decay kagad, ibig sabihin, nawala kagad yung fault current. So we have symmetrical and asymmetrical fault current. Basically, yung nasa kaliwa, that is totally symmetrical current. So, tawag nito, symmetrical means balance, no? Yung waveform niya is balance. Then you have a totally asymmetrical. So mapapansin niyo meron decay. No? Ito to. Ito yung decay. Hanggang pumunta siya sa symmetrical waveform. Then we have a partially asymmetrical current. So ito, actually in-include ko lang to just to give basic information to the student as well as sa mga professionals din na medyo nakakalimutan na yung short circuit. So kasi ito class, i-explain ko na lang. Once na nagkaroon ka ng short circuit, yung behavior ng current mo, it goes to the peak. Yan ang tinatawag na instantaneous peak short circuit current. Usually that is 0.5 cycle. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na yung medium voltage, since magti-trip siya around 1.5 to 4 cycle, ano ang gagawin niya sa short circuit current beyond that 1.5 cycle? So ibig sabihin dapat mag-withstand yung circuit breaker. Ibig sabihin kaya niyang dalhin yung short circuit at that particular cycle. Kasi kung hindi niya gagawin yon or mali ka ng calculation, definitely sasabog yung circuit breaker mo, hindi pa nagtitrip. Okay, so eto mamaya, pakitaan ko lang kayo ng basic calculation, instantaneous peak short circuit current. Then we have asymmetrical short circuit current. This is the RMS. And bago siya mag-decay, pumunta ng symmetrical short circuit. The decay class is the X over R ratio of the system, which is also known as the short circuit power factor. Okay? So, dapat alam din natin yung short circuit power factor at the faulted point para alam natin yung decay ng fault. Kasi pag hindi mo rin alamin yung X over R ratio at the faulted point kung saan ka nag-calculate ng short circuit current, definitely baka hindi rin mag-withstand yung circuit breaker mo. Otherwise, kung mali ka ng calculation, no, nade-derate yung circuit breaker mo. Paano sir nade-derate? Pag mali ang X over R, no, yung calculation mo dun sa binili mong circuit breaker, yung 100 kaik mo, possible maging 80 kaik na lang. Si IEEE merong derating calculation, which is actually cool. Hindi ko lang siya makita ngayon, dapat isasama ko. But pag nakita ko, I will share with Engineer Ernie. Okay? But nade-derate yan. Kaya make sure na sinasama sa calculation yung short circuit power factor. So this one, usually baka nakita nyo na to sa ibang presentation, but this came from IEEE book naman. So this waveform represents short circuit with a large X over R. So pag malaki yung X over R mo, ang tagal mag-decay ng fault. Ibig sabihin na dapat from that scenario, no, mag-withstand yung circuit breaker mo. Kasi otherwise, no, pag hindi siya nag-withstand dun sa hanggang mag-decay yung fault current, definitely sira din yung circuit breaker mo. This waveform represents short circuit with low X over R or short circuit power factor. So mabilis siyang mag-decay. So this one, I just want to share you about the subtransient impedance, usually 1/2 cycle. Ito yung reference mo dun sa fault. I mean, kung 0.5 or 1/2 cycle, yan ang ginagamitan natin ng subtransient reactance. 1.5 to 4 cycle, that is the transient impedance, which is 1.5 to 4 cycle, and the synchronous, no, which is going to the steady state. Okay. Okay, for the per unit calculation, gentlemen, kung kayo yung mag-PPE, ang ina-accept ng board is the use of per unit. Wala nang iba. So dapat ito yung gamitin nyo or dito kayo masanay sa per unit calculation. So ano yung advantage of using the per unit calculation? Number one, values in per unit quantities are much easier to handle because naka-percent nga eh. So mas madali siyang i-handle. Impedance being referred to one side of the transformer due to transformation ratio is not a problem. Kahit na meron kang transformation ratio with regards to the primary and secondary voltage, kayang-kaya niya, walang mali dun sa calculation mo. Manufacturers specify the impedance of their equipment in percent. Kaya ito, mas advantage nga kasi ang transformer nyo naka-percent impedance, ang generator nyo percent reactances. So mas madali siyang i-handle yung data. Mas madali yung calculation mo sa per unit. So hindi ko na basahin to para doon na tayo sa ano. You have to read it. Yung first three, yun yung gusto kong i-emphasize ano yung advantage ng per unit. So sa computer kasi sa per unit, ito mas madali din siyang i-input using Excel. Kasi since sa Excel it's a powerful tool. Yan si Engineer Ernie magaling sa Excel yan, proven. So, yung per unit calculation is pwede mong i-input sa Excel. Kaya mas madali talaga siyang i-handle. Okay. So sa per unit, tatandaan lang natin class, pag nag-calculate tayo in per unit, kailangan meron tayong tinatawag na common power base. Any base kung saan kayo komportable na gamitin yung power base, kung saan kayo komportable gamitin yung base na yon. Let's say 100 MVA base, walang problema, pwede nyo gamitin. Kahit na nasa loob ng system, pwede yung utility. Kung MVA short circuit, pwede nyo gamitin base. Pwede nyo rin gamitin base yung transformer, walang problema. Basta number one rule in per unit calculation of the short circuit is pag ano ang ginamit mong base, dapat all throughout your calculation is the same base. Okay? Yun lang tatandaan. Kasi pag iniban nyo yung base, mali na yung calculation ninyo. So, choose any two of the electrical parameters. Dapat meron kang voltage base and power base. Okay? So, yun yung number one rule. Pag meron kang voltage base, dapat may power base ka. Okay? Mag-declare ka. Ikaw ang bahala. So ako, kung ako yung tatanungin nyo, mas komportable kasi ako na ginagamit ko yung rating ng main transformer ko and the secondary voltage, which is papakita ko mamaya. Okay? So this one, single phase system, nilagay ko na lang yung formula. Sabi ko nga yung tawag nito yung derivation, I can send it to you para medyo makapunta tayo sa calculations. Single phase. This is the three phase. How you convert, how to find the I base. I base is simply the power base divided by the voltage base times square root of 3. Your impedance base and other formula for the impedance base. This one, another formula. Ito class, ito ang importante. Your I per unit is simply equals to the actual current. Either this is three-phase fault or single line to ground fault, line to line fault, double line to ground. That is your actual current. So IPU, it is equals to the actual current divided by your base current. So ito yung tatandaan niyo lagi. Okay? Yan ang basic. Mamaya explain ko some tawag nito, some industry lecturer. For example, the very prominent and very good electrical design analysis lecturer, Engineer Vincent Jimenez. Mamaya meron siyang ginagamit na direct tawag nito, direct formula. But diyan din galing yan. So, since may mga student, I want to introduce this. So, remember that your I per unit is simply actual current divided by base current. Okay? Your VPU or your voltage per unit is simply actual voltage divided by your base voltage. And your impedance per unit, actual impedance divided by your base impedance. So this yung last formula, yung impedance, yan yung ginagamit sa mga sizing ng resistor, no? So this one hindi naman, pag nakita nyo na lang yung formula na yon, pwede nyo gamitin. This one, very common. Yung old impedance, you can convert it to the new impedance by using this formula. Okay? Sabi ko nga, yung derivation hindi ko na mabibigay, pero yung bibigay kong tawag nito, copy of my presentation, may derivation yan. Okay? Kita nyo class, trabaho yan. Sorry. Okay. So sa short circuit calculation, tatandaan lang natin, actually ako para maging conservative yung calculation ko kasi nasa industry ako, no? Pag ang tawag nito pag nagka-calculate ako para maging conservative yung result, I use 1 kVA is equals to 1 horsepower or rather 1 horsepower is equals to 1 kVA. Pero alam naman natin na yung 1 kVA is not equals always to 1 horsepower kasi may formula tayo diyan. So para maging conservative lang ako, yun ang ginagamit ko, which is pwede niyong gamitin kasi recommended naman ni IEEE. Okay? Yun yung approach ni IEEE. So sa per unit, we have example paano mag-convert. For example, if the base quantities, nag-declare ako ng base quantities ko are chosen to be 100 MVA and 230 kV, express the 220 kV and 90 kVA in per unit. So simply, the 220 kV will be 220 divided by 230. You have 0.957 per unit. So sa mga student ng power system, alam pa nila yan. 90,000 kVA convert to per unit, we have 90 divided by 100, no? You will get 0.9 per unit. Hindi na yan, okay na yan. So this one yung sinasabi kong very useful. Kasi for example, ang motor mo is 380 volts, kakabit ka sa 400 volts. Definitely yung impedance ng motor ng 380 is different to the impedance pag kinabit mo na siya sa 400. Yun yung concept na din ng per unit. For example, this one, a 3-phase 125 MVA 13.2 kV generator has a subtransient reactance of 7%. So yung 7% is based on the 13.2 kV, which is the old impedance, okay? Using 100 MVA and 13.8 kV, no? For example, per unit calculation ka, ang ginamit mong MVA base is 100 MVA and your voltage base is 13.8, definitely magkailangan mo ng impedance new. So calculate the new percent reactance based on the 13.8 kV of that particular generator. So for the formula, Z new is equals to Z old multiplied by kV old divided by kV new squared multiplied by MVA new divided by MVA old. So 7%, this is the reactance of the generator at 13.2, and you have the ratio of kV old over kV new squared, which is 13.2 divided by 13.8 times 100, which is your base power base, divide by the 125, which is your actual rating of the generator. So the new impedance based on that base values or declared base values is simply 5.124%. Mamaya makikita niyan paano ginamit. So sige, may tanong ba, class?
Meron sir sa ano natin?
Sige, pwede pakibasa na lang muna.
Pero na ano ko na rin siya sir. Ang tanong lang niya una is, meron daw po ba kayong MBA-SC or MBA short circuit and X over R na utilities?
Yung MBA short circuit at saka X over R ng utilities, actually kung wala kang, actually hinihingi yan sa utility mismo. Meron silang data niyan. So kailangan kung ikaw is magko-conduct ka or magka-calculate ka ng short circuit calculation mo, kahit actually sa PEE nga ginagawa niyan, kailangan tama yung ibibigay mong MBA short circuit at the topping point including X over R. Kasi ayaw ng board na huhulaan mo lang yan. Okay? So, kung ang tanong mo, kung meron ako nun, makukuha mo yan sa utility. Makukuha mo yan sa utility. Kung Meralco ka nakatap, you will ask the owner to write a letter or request to Meralco na ibigay sa iyo yung MBA short circuit kasi pwede mong hingin yan MBA short circuit 3-phase, MBA short circuit single line to ground fault, your X over R, yan, meron yan, your impedances doon sa top kung ano yung ginamit, no? So pwedeng ibigay sa iyo ni Meralco yan. Pero eto naman, sir, paano po kung ang Meralco is hindi makapagpadala kagad at kailangan kong magkaroon ng analysis? Basically, pwede mo munang i-disregard yung sa utility. And pwede kang gumamit ng value na safe. Let's say 1,000 to 1,000 MVA short circuit up to 1,500. Pwede yun. Kasi usually, ang mga utility, it will range 700 to 300 MVA short circuit. Depende sa feeder. Depende sa fault level. So kung mag-assume ka ng mataas, mas safe yung calculation mo. Kasi naging conservative ka. Pero hindi ko ibig sabihin na yun na yung gagamitin mo. Kailangan mong hintayin yung data ni Meralco or nung utility para magkaroon ka ng tamang calculation or fault calculation. Okay? Kasi definitely, tingnan mo kung mali yung gagawin mong, or hindi naman mali, kasi pwede ka nga mag-assume for initial calculation. Pag ginamit mo yung initial calculation mo without verifying dun sa data ni utility, ang mangyayari niyan, yung true fault mo, true fault meaning your fault at the secondary kung nag-compute ka, no? At fault at the secondary, tapos magko-compute ka ng protection coordination mo, co-coordinate mo yung primary to secondary, parang merong discrepancy yon. Magkakaroon ka ng mamaya hindi naman ganun yung fault duty niya. So nag-assume ka lang. So sa rating ng devices mo, safe ka kasi gumamit ka ng worst case scenario or worst value. Pero pagdating mo na settings ng coordination mo, ay doon ka magkakaproblema. Kaya you have to wait or you have to verify it to the utility provider or power provider. Meron pa, Sir Ernie?
Wala po, sir.
Okay. Pasensya na, class, bilis ko magsalita kasi may meeting ako. So, okay, balik tayo. So based ito ang nagpasikat ng short circuit. Yung mga unbalanced fault, unsymmetrical, asymmetrical. So si Charles Leggett Fortescue. So sinasabi niya na kahit unbalanced yung fault, meron niyang 3 components. So tatandaan natin, pag balance yung fault, positive sequence lang. Pag nag-unbalance yung fault, meron kang 3 components. You have the positive, negative, and zero sequence. So yun yung nakita ni Charles Fortescue. So meaning kaya niyang computein yung unbalanced network using the solution of the polyphase network which was published in 1918. Yan yung ginamit niya. So sinasabi niya, the balanced system can be simulated with single phase, easier to analyze. 3-phase unbalanced vectors, 3 balanced sequence vectors. Ito na yung positive, negative, and zero sequence. Kung sa power system nyo, alam ko naman is natakil nyo na yan. So dito naman, self-explanatory. This one is the derivation of the symmetrical components. Alam naman natin yan. So we have operator A. So gusto ko lang pumunta na kagad sa calculation. This is equalities of operator A. This one, magagamit kasi ito dun sa pag-derive ng formula. Kung paano kinuha yung mga per unit values with different faults. For example, 3-phase fault, single line to ground fault, double line to ground fault, line to line. So, magagamit niyang operator A. Laktawan ko na to, class, ha? Punta tayo doon sa calculation. Okay, dito naman is the positive sequence impedance. So the positive sequence impedance Z1, this is the formula. Negative sequence, nasa derivation naman yan, class. Makikita nyo pag pinasa ko sa inyo yung tawag nito, yung slide ko. For the transformer, tatandaan natin, positive, negative sequence of the transformer are equal regardless of the construction of the transformer. Meaning, kung ano yung makita mong positive sequence reactance, it's the same as negative. So kung 5% ang positive, definitely negative niya is 5 din. Okay? Yun yung tatandaan niyo. So meron ako rito simple or basic information about the voltage rating of the transformer, kVA rating, and percent impedance. No? Nag-range siya. So, kung wala kayong data initially, pwede yan. And si IEEE, meron na mga, actually meron yata dito, meron akong nilagay na graph, but you will interpolate, no, para makuha niyo yung exact percent impedance with regards to the kVA rating of particular transformer. So, fault point mamaya na yan. Okay, eto mahalaga to, class, yung transformer zero sequence circuit model. Because pag nagko-compute kayo ng single line to ground fault, ang zero sequence component is depende doon sa orientation ng winding mo. Okay? So dito, basically, yung transformer connection, for example, yung unang-una, this is 2Y ungrounded. Primary is Y ungrounded, secondary ungrounded. So your zero sequence circuit will be like this one, putol. Okay, makikita nyo putol. So definitely, kung zero sequence ang pag-uusapan natin dito, it will not flow. Okay? Papunta or pabalik ng utility. Hindi na magko-contribute yung zero sequence. For this one, Y grounded, ungrounded naman yung secondary mo, putol din. Okay? Pag nag-Y, grounded, yun ang merong flow of the zero sequence going back to the utility. Okay? This one is the same naman. Actually, this is tertiary. Hindi na tayo masyado ng malalim to. But I just provided this just in case dun sa mga professionals na nag-short circuit calculation as well as dun sa nag-PPEE. Meron kayong reference pag ang transformer nyo is tertiary winding. Meron tertiary winding. Ito yung gusto kong ipakita. Sa three-phase fault, per unit, ito lang tatandaan nyo. Which is meron derivation niya na ibibigay ako. But kung kayo is nagpa-practice na, no, ito na lang tandaan nyo. I fault 3-phase per unit is simply V or EA1 divided by Z1. Only positive sequence network. Okay? Pagdating sa single line to ground fault, ito naman. Your I fault single line to ground fault is simply 3 EA1 or makikita nyo minsan 3 BPU, which is per unit, divide by 2Z1 plus ZO. Yung Z1 is simply Z1 or positive sequence impedance plus Z2 plus ZO. Minsan kasi sa power system, minsan nagkaka-equal yung Z1 and Z2. Kaya nilagay niya rito is simply 2Z1 plus ZO. So, ito yung tatandaan nyo pag single line to ground fault. Okay? Pag double, line to line is simply square root of 3 divided by 2 multiplied by your I fault 3-phase symmetrical. That is your line-to-line fault. Sa iba, ang ginagawa niyan, that is your fault na 3-phase is only 87, the line-to-line fault is 87% of your 3-phase fault. Kasi pag dinivide mo yung square root of 3 divided by 2 is simply 0.8666. For double line to ground fault, mapapansin nyo, ang nag-double is yung zero sequence. Z1 plus 2ZO. Okay? Ito hindi na. Doon ko na lang papaliwanag sa diagram. Okay. Nakikita, malinaw ba? Ito hinabol ko lang to, ha? Sir Ernie, medyo nakikita ba yung diagram?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sa diagram na to, meron akong 3 faulted point. Nakakalkulhin natin. Meron akong power system. This is a basic power system. We have a transformer. Delta Y, grounded, yung secondary niya. Nakakonekta ako sa 34.5 kV. So, for example, humingi ako kay utility, ang binigay niya 1.5 MVA short circuit 3-phase fault at the topping point. And I have a 1,000 MVA short circuit single line to ground fault. And the short circuit power factor at the topping point is 12. Okay? Then my transformer rating is 2.5 MVA, 34.5 kV to 400. No? 60 Hertz, I have a 5% impedance and X over R of 7. Sir, ano ba yung function ng 5% impedance bukod doon sa short circuit na sinabi mo kanina? Di ba, binanggit ko sa inyo kanina na kunin niyo yung full load current ng secondary divide by the percent impedance. That is your fault current, 3-phase symmetrical at no load condition. So basically, the 5%, kung titignan mo, kunin mo yung 400 volts, multiply mo ng 5%. So ilan yon? 400 divided by 0.05, you will get 20 volts. Di ba? Pag nag-short circuit test ka doon sa transformer, ang ibig sabihin ng 5%, at 20 volts, sinuplayan mo ako doon sa variac sa taas at sinort mo yung secondary. This one, sinort mo rito. Then sa taas meron akong variac, no? At pinihit ko yung variac at nag-supply na ako ng 20 volts. Pag naka-volted fault or naka-shorted yung tatlong line ng short circuit test mo nung linya mo, at 20 volts magsi-circulate na yung full load current ng transformer. So meaning habang ini-increase ko yung 20 volts to papunta ng 400 volts, ano nang makukuha nyo rito? Yung sinabi ko na kanina. Yung full load current divided by the percent impedance. Yun na yung short circuit at no load condition. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng impedance. So for this example, meron akong cable 1. I have 10 sets of 250 mm THWN in steel conduit. And meron akong length na 10 meter. Okay? Meron akong cable 2 na 4 sets of 3250 but 100 meters naman yung length. And meron akong 4 sets do sa kabilang feeder na 4 sets of 3250 din but meron akong 75 meters. So meron akong nakakabit na dalawang motor, 1000 horsepower, 380 volts, subtransient of 12. Ito yung reactance during the half cycle, sinasabi ko kanina, and X over R of 8. Then we have 750 horsepower, 380 volts, subtransient of 10, and meron akong X over R na 8. So the problem dito, what is the fault current at fault point 1 para ma-size up natin yung breaker dito, di ba? And what is the fault current at fault point 2 para ma-size up ko yung breaker dito as well as the circuit breaker here. Oh, so ito simple lang, no? Pero in reality, kung ilang feeder yan, let's say 6 feeders yung i-calculate mo. Pero some designers, ang ginagawa niya, no, hinahanap niya yung mababang reactance ng system. Kasi yun yung mataas yung fault current. Diba? For example, dito, ito yung mataas na fault current kasi mababa yung reactance ko. But verify mo rin sa calculation. Pero ang ibig sabihin, ang ginagawa ng ibang designer, hahanapin niya yung low reactance or yung pinakamataas mag-contribute ng fault, yun na kagad yung halimbawa, kung na-compute niya is, let's say, ang breaker na sinize up niya is 25 kaik, all throughout nung feeder na yon 25 kaik. No? Para for flexibility ng system. Pwede niya i-transfer kung magdagdag man. So, ganun yung ibang ginagawa ng iba. So, identical yung kaik rating ng mga feeder. Okay? So, this is the problem, example, calculation. So, sa akin, sabi ko nga kanina, ako kasi pag nag-a-assume ng power base, ang ginagamit ko, the transformer itself, yung main. So dito, mapapansin ninyo, assume a common power base. Pag nag-assume kayo, all throughout your calculation, same base. So gumamit ako on my own. Kayo, pwede rin, kahit anong gamitin nyo, wala namang problema. Ako, gumamit ako ng 2.5 MVA as my power base and 400 volts as my voltage base. So mapapansin nyo, this is the rating of the transformer and this is my secondary voltage rating. So therefore, based doon, kung nag-declare ako ng base ng power base and voltage base, definitely anong makukuha ko? May I base, di ba? I base is simply 2.5 MVA base divided by square root of 3 multiplied by your voltage base, which is 400 volts. Di ba? So I will get 3,608.44 amperes. So the 3,608.44 amperes is the same as my secondary full load current of the transformer of the 2.5 MVA. Diba? So kanina, yung sa pinapatandaan ko sa inyong formula, ang sabi natin, I actual is simply I base times I per unit. Okay, kanina doon makikita nyo, I per unit is equals to A actual divided by your I base. So, inayos ko lang, nire-arrange ko lang yung formula. IA is equals to I base times I per unit. Where my IA is my three-phase symmetrical fault. Okay? So based doon, after na ma-establish mo yung base values mo, you have to convert all the equipment to per unit values. Okay? So impedance of the utility, we have a formula of MVA base divided by MVA actual. So lalagay mo 2.5 MVA as my base, divide by 1,500 MVA as my actual, inverse tangent of the x over r to get the angle. So I will get 0.00167 angle 85.24 degrees per unit. Okay, so meron ka na, na-convert mo na yon in per unit. Next one, anong equipment ang meron tayong available? The transformer. You have to convert the transformer to per unit values. So the impedance is 0.05 multiplied by 2.5 MVA base, your 2.5 MVA as a base. What is the actual? 2.5 MVA actual. Inverse tangent of the short circuit power factor of your transformer. You will get 0.05 angle 81.87 degrees per unit. For 250 mm square THWN in conduit, the resistance and reactance value, you will get this in PEC, Philippine Electrical Code. Nakalimutan ko lang yung table, but you will get there the reactance and resistance and reactance value of 250 mm square per 305 meters. Okay? So, ito, i-convert mo para makuha mo yung impedance. Pakitanggal na lang to pag tatanggalin ko to, sorry ha. So, pag kinonvert mo to in impedance, gagawin mong polar, 0.056 angle 58.86, which is the ohmic value of that particular cable. So, since this is ohmic, convert mo siya in per unit. Yung cable 1, this is the impedance, divide by the number of sets, no? Di ba? Number of sets to kanina. Para makita niya. Yun. 10 sets. Okay? That is why kaya mapapansin niyo ba pag nagse-set tayo ng kable, di ba nako-correct natin yung let's say voltage drop. Kasi lumalaki yung area eh. Di ba? Compared na pag maliit yung kable mo, di ba? Maliit yung area, so possible na magkaroon ka ng drop, no? So kaya ka nagse-set aside from ampacity para ma-correct mo yung voltage drop from sending end to receiving end. Okay? So again, yung ohmic value ng cable, convert natin into per unit. 0.056 divided by the number of sets multiplied by your MVA base divided by 4 kV squared. Okay? Times 10 divided by 305 meters. Sir, ba't may 305 meters? Kasi gusto mong malaman yung impedance with respect sa 10 meters lang. Kasi yung kanina, yung 0.056 is based yan sa 305 meters. So automatic, pag 305 meters yung length ng kable mo, that is 0.056. Pero since 10 meters lang ang ginamit mo from the terminal of the transformer papuntang bus bar, definitely iba yung impedance. So you will get 0.029 per unit. And for cable 2, 0.056, parehas naman 250 mm, naka 4 sets. Kaya nga lang naka 100 meters, you will get 0.0717 per unit. And for cable 3, same size, divide by 4 sets. Magkaiba lang ng meters or length, 75 divided by 305, you will get 0.00538 per unit. Okay? Next, equipment. Tapos na tayo sa cable 1, cable 2, cable 3, utility, transformer, dalawa na lang, which is motor 1, motor 2. Okay? For motor 1, they said meron siyang subtransient reactance na 12 during the half cycle. So 12 divided by 100 kasi gagawin mong per unit, multiplied by MVA base, divide by 1,000 horsepower. Sabi natin kanina, 1 horsepower is 1 kVA, which is the safe assumption according to IEEE.
Then, ang voltage rating ng motor mo is 380. Definitely, yung 12%, mag-iiba ng rating yan sa 400. So, you will find the new reactance based on the 400 volts tapping point. Then, multiply or find the inverse tangent of the short circuit power factor of that motor. You will get 0.271 angle 82.87 degrees per unit. For motor 2, the subtransient reactance is 10 divided by 100 multiplied by 2.5 MVA as your base times 2.5 MVA base divided by 750 kVA or 750 horsepower, kinonvert lang uli natin, multiplied by 380 volts, no? Times 380 volts divided by 400 volts squared. Then the short circuit power factor, you will get the inverse tangent. You will get 0.301 angle 82.87. So lahat na-convert mo na in per unit. Okay? After na ma-convert mo lahat in per unit, anong susunod mong gawin? Class, mababasa naman yan sa procedure, ano? So akin dineretso ko na dito sa diagram. So pag meron ka ng na-convert mo na in per unit, on the left side na makikita mong diagram, that is your impedance diagram based on fault point 1. Okay, kanina meron tayong kinonvert na per unit, which is the utility, the transformer, and the cable. And you have motor 1. Motor 1, okay? Then you have the cable. Motor 2, then you have the cable. Ang una nating calculate, what is the fault current at fault point 1? Meaning, pag nagkaroon ng three-phase fault dito, ano yung fault current niya na magpo-flow? So, ang distribution ng fault current, meron si utility ibibigay, dadaan kay transformer, i-impede niya, diba? Using the short circuit impedance. Then, i-impede, ililimit din ni cable. Sabi natin, ano pang source ng fault? The motor. Yung motor, pag nagkaroon ng fault, ibibigay niya yung fault current niya, i-impede ulit yung cable niya, papunta dun sa bus. Ganon din yung mangyayari sa motor 2. So, yan yung flow of the fault, papunta dun sa bus of the 400 volts. So, para makuha natin yung faulted point, kailangan natin ng impedance in per unit. Diba? Kailangan natin ng impedance per unit. So, pag dito ang reference point, pag nagkaroon ako ng fault dito, para ma-size up natin yung circuit breaker dito, ano mangyayari? Yung source ng fault, definitely babalik ako sa source. Tsaka tong dalawa. Tsaka tong isa, tong feeder 2. Ang mangyayari niyan, ZU, ZT, ito, and Z of cable 1 will be parallel tawag nito, combination parallel ZM1 and Z cable 2 and parallel to ZM2 and Z cable 3. Aangat. Okay? So, ZU plus ZT plus ZC1, ito. Pag inad mo yan, kasi naka-series, you will get 0.0627 angle 54.7. Say cable 1, sorry, say cable 2 na to. Say cable 2 plus ZM1, you will get 0.289 angle 68.61. Then series ulit nito, say cable 3. So, wala lang nailagay ito, class. Pasensya na. Say cable 3 plus ZM2, pero tama to, class. Say TPU is the parallel combination of this 1, 2, 3. You will get the total impedance at the faulted point, you will get 0.312 angle 73.03. So, this is your impedance at the faulted point. Dito. Ito yung reference fault natin yung main bus na 400 volts. So again, balik tayo. Sabi natin, I actual is your three-phase fault is equals to I base times I per unit. Para makompute natin yung fault, since meron na tayong I base, yung dineclare nating base, kulang na lang tayo ng I per unit. Your I per unit is simply V per unit, Ohm's law, divided by impedance per unit. Sir, bakit po naging 1? We assume that di ba may formula tayong V per unit is simply tawag nito, V per unit is equals to tawag nito, nawala ako So IPU, sorry. So pat naging 1 yan, VA is equals to VB times V per unit. So since naka per unit yan, we assume that the actual voltage of 400 volts is the same as your 400 volts declare base. Kaya naging 1. 400 divided by 400 is 1 per unit. Okay? So 1 per unit divided by the impedance of the total impedance per unit at the faulted point, which is 0.0446, you will get 22.42. Okay? So balik ka ulit dito sa formula na to. Sabi natin na yung I actual is I fault 3-phase symmetrical is simply 3,608.44, which is the same as my secondary full load current, multiplied by 22.42, you will get 80,901.22 amperes. This is my fault point 1, symmetrical. Okay? So, yung ibang lecturer, mas maganda rin naman sa kanila, pero ang in-input ko lang sa inyo is basic. Sa kanila, ang ginagamit nila, yung I-fault 3-phase symmetrical is simply MVA base divide by square root of 3, no, multiplied by the voltage times the per unit impedance at the faulted point. So parehas lang, binirate lang yung formula. So sa akin, inisa-isa ko dito ako para makita lang ng student na saan galing yung base tsaka I per unit. Okay? So 80,901.22 amperes symmetrical fault. Therefore, your interrupting capacity ng circuit breaker at the secondary, ang rating mo is minimum. Ibig sabihin, dapat hindi ako bumaba ng 80,901.22. Okay? So, alamin natin ngayon yung peak current naman. Ano yung peak current na mararanasan ng circuit breaker pag nagkaroon ako ng fault? Which is 0.5 cycle. So, kailangan mo ng short circuit power factor. Yung 0.038, ito yung impedance mo, i-convert mo lang sa rectangular. Then get the ratio of X over R. You will get 0.168. Okay? Ibalik mo lang, gawin mo lang yung polar, gawin mo lang rectangular. Okay? Para makuha mo yung short circuit power factor or X over R. So may formula si IEEE para makuha mo yung asymmetrical peak. Tau is equal to 0.49 minus 0.1 E raised to negative X over R divided by 3. So substitute mo lang yung formula, yung X over R, wala yung X over R lang. You will get tau 0.3954. So you compute for the multiplying factor formula, you will get square root of 2 times 1 plus E negative 2 pi T tau divided by X over R. You will get the multiplying factor of 1.414. So yung symmetrical current mo na fault, i-multiply mo raw ng 1.414, you will get 114,394.32. Meaning, pag nagkaroon ako ng fault sa main bus, 3-phase fault, di ba? At 0.5 cycle, which is the peak current ko is 114.394.32 ampere. So, meaning, ganun yung mararanasan ng circuit breaker mo. Ngayon, pag hindi mo kinonsider yan, at nag-purchase ka ng circuit breaker, hinayaan mo lang yung interrupting capacity, definitely may problema ka. Actually, parehas na to. The asymmetrical naman, you will find the formula of a multiplying factor by this one. So, the asymmetrical, nagkataon lang na 1 kasi yung tawag nito, yung ginamit kong example is inisip ko lang, kaya alam nyo naman, madalian. So, pasensya na. So, nagkataon lang na 1. So, definitely hindi dapat 1 yan. But the formula is the same, no? Ito yung dapat nyong gamitin. So, pag nagsasize up pala tayo ng circuit breaker, tatandaan natin, hindi lang ampere frame na nakasanayan natin, dapat meron tayong interrupting capacity, meron tayong asymmetrical RMS short circuit ng breaker, at meron tayong peak current short circuit, tsaka ano pa, short circuit power factor. Okay? So, marami pala, no? Hindi lang pala pag sinabi nating 2,000 ampere, ay ikabit mo yan 2,000 ampere, hindi na ako magko-compute, okay yan. Mali. Okay? So, impedance diagram at fault point 2. no? Kanina, meron tayong, ito yung isang feeder, ito yung pangalawang feeder. Okay? Doon sa nauna natin, lahat yan nagparallel. Ngayon, hindi na. Kung meron tayong fault after doon sa cable papuntang motor 1, ganito na orientation ng impedance diagram mo. ZU, ZT, and Z cable 1 will be in series. Magpaparallel yan sa ZM2 and Z cable 3. Then the combination of that, the result combination of that will be in series at your Z cable 2. Okay? And that will be on parallel at Z motor 1. So, pag ganun ang ginawa mo, no, makukuha mo yung impedance, total impedance of 0.0869 angle 39.95. Okay? Then, ganun ulit ang gagawin mo. You will find your I per unit. This is VPU divided by ZTPU. So, you will get 41,524.05 ampere. So, pag nagkaroon pala ako ng fault dito, dapat ang rating ng circuit breaker ko, interrupting capacity, is minimum 41,524.05 ampere. So, hindi ko na kinumpute dito yung asymmetrical. Pwede yung basis yung una. Simple lang naman yung diagram natin. Okay? For impedance diagram at fault point 3, so kanina yung nauna natin, ito yung main bus. Kanina ito yung kinumpute natin na faulted point. Ngayon naman doon sa pangalawang feeder. So ZU, ZT, Z cable 1 in series. ZM1, ZC2 in series. Parallel in series with your Z cable 3 kasi nandun yung faulted point. Parallel naman siya sa Z motor 2. So pag ginawa mo yan, series parallel, reduction, you will get 0.0769 angle 40.6. And the fault current is 46,923. Mapapansin niyo yung sinabi ko kanina. Yung ibang designer hinahanap yung low reactance. O makikita niyo yung low reactance na 10%, ang laki ng fault. 'Di ba? So, doon na siya nag-size up. All throughout that feeder, pare-parehas na. Okay? So dito, may shortcut. Pwede nyo gamitin to sa mga practitioner. Tingnan nyo balik lang tayo. Yan. Gusto nyo ng shortcut? Meron. Di ba nakuha nyo yung fault dito? Meron tayong fault dito na 80,901.22. Okay? That fault, i-convert mo in MVA. 80,902 multiplied by 400 volts times square root of 3. You will get MVA short circuit, right? Gamit ka ulit ngayon ng per unit. Yun naman yung ang reactance mo at the tapping point or upstream. I-series mo ngayon dito and parallel to the motor. Madali mo nang makuha yung fault sa fault level at fault point 2 as well as fault point 3. Hindi mo na kailangan buuin. Pero kung masipag-sipag ka, di buuin mo. Okay? So basic lang yung ginawa kong presentation. Then next, single line to ground fault. Sabi natin sa single line to ground fault, this is an unbalanced fault. So mag-i-exist na yung 3 sequence network. The positive, negative, and 0. Okay, tatandaan natin, transformer is the same. Z1, Z2, and ZO. Utility is the same. Cable is the same. So based sa fault point 2, kanina, saan tayo kumuha ng fault? Doon sa main bus. Main bus na lang ang kinuhanan ko ng fault. So ito yung impedance diagram niya. ZU, ZT, and Z cable 1 will be your positive sequence network. ZU, ZT, Z cable 1, your negative sequence network. So, tatlo kasi yung mag-i-exist Isipin nyo, i-visualize nyo na pag nagkaroon ako ng fault do sa 400 volts, single line to ground fault, ito yung impedance diagram niya. Sa cable 1, Z2, sir, bakit po putol? Mapapansin nyo dun sa diagram, naka-delta Y, grounded. So, yung zero sequence, hindi pupunta ng utility. So, pag in-add up mo yan, Z1, Z2, and ZO, yan. So, since parehas lang yung Z1 and Z2, you will get, yung binanggit ko kanina ng formula, your IPU, pagdating sa single line to ground fault, is 3 BPU or 3 EA, yung kaninang sample ko, divide by Z1 plus Z2 plus ZO. You will get 3 BPU divide 0.97 is equals to 15.23. Ang kagandahan ng per unit, mapapansin nyo, yung I-base na ginamit nyo, kahit single line to ground fault na, yun pa rin. So, may single line to ground fault at 400 volts bus is 54,956.54 amperes. Okay? Eh sir, paano po pag motor? Bakit hindi po sinama yung pwede nyo kunin yung single line to ground ng motor. Dito, balik tayo. Wala namang problema. Yan. Kung gusto niyo makuha yung single line to ground fault dito, kunin yung kasama niyo yung cable doon sa EC-series ninyo. Eh sir, kailan lang isasama yung motor? Pag nagkaroon ng single line to ground fault. Pag ang motor mo grounded. Pero pag ang grounded yung motor mo sa low voltage, definitely wala yan. Hindi mo siya maisasama. Okay? So may question, class? I think that's all. Meron lang akong binigay dito na I can entertain na question siguro bago ako mag-meeting. May binigay ako mga additional formulas and references. Just in case you need additional references. Yan, meron. You have to read it lang para pag yung mga mag-PE and as well as yung mga student. Ito yung sinasabi ko, anong X over R range ng mga power transformer, you have to interpolate. Yun ang problema pag hindi or wala kayong data. Induction motors, actually nasa IEEE Red Book lahat yan. Generator. And you have a X over R, typical location for quick approximation. So meron kayo. Pero ang sabi ko nga, makukuha nyo lahat ng data niyan sa utility as well as sa mga catalog or data or electrical equipment data. Okay, so that's all.